All right, can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Beautiful.
Welcome to Crypto Meatheads, where I, Jeff Black, am joined by Andy Peters and Jason Theobald, three guys in their 40s, possibly going through a midlife crisis, diving headfirst into the world of digital assets. As we realize that retirement and financial security might be a bit further down the road than we thought, we're here to learn, share, and hopefully succeed in our crypto investments. So if you guys find this valuable and fun, just ask you to share the show. But as always, I want to get into our sponsors as we kick this off to make it jam-packed for those who like to listen to the meat and potatoes. First sponsorship is nuethix.com, nuethix.com. They're linked in the show description. They are a sponsor, and they have sponsored me, a cool guy with no potential to ever go anywhere in fitness, but I have a good base of people, and their products are awesome. The one I want to talk about is Thyro Boost Plus. Summer will be here before you know it. The work you do now is in January. That's a product that's going to kick your thyroid up a notch. I use it with a lot of people. Most people have low thyroid. Regardless of what your doctor says, maybe we'll do a health and wealth episode one day down the road to kind of untangle some stuff for the crowd who's new to us, Jason and I on that end. But Relentless 10, and if you guys use like a product like A1G, they've got a great product that's comparable to Gourmet Greens. Jay, you want to hit up AVH real quick?
Yeah. So advanced vitality, we do hormone replacement, anti-aging, and we do it from a functional standpoint. So all of our MPs are trained not just to, look at hormones, but to really what's going on at the root cause. Are hormones right for you? Would there be something else that's better? Anti-aging, peptides, you name it, we have it. We're licensed in 50 states and we can do all telemed. So advancedvitalityhrt.com, hit us up. Or if you DM me personally, I'll walk you right into the clinic and assign you a coordinator myself. So
Legit. And that's who I send all my clients to because they get great results. Just saying. Andy, let's hit them with your Discord group, man. This has been cool to see. The community speaks for itself. Everybody's been friendly to me, even when I ask questions that I'm sure is amateur. But go ahead and share that.
Yeah, so you can get you can be part of my Discord. It's called the Pip Connect. It's just www.realandypeters, that's Peters with an S.com. Got all kinds of fun stuff in there. We talk crypto, we talk stocks, meme coins, investments, all the fun stuff. And I will put out a shameless plug. This past week, we ended up catching 2,000 points from Sunday till present. Which obviously, if you're trading and you're doing a small risk, the small risk was like $1,500 for that trade. It ended up netting you close to almost $22,000 in 7 days. So
was
pretty
that
happy
that
about that
stock
one.
FFC
So
FCCN?
so FCCN was a stock that we'd been calling since May of last year, and as of today, it tapped out at $10, which is
Oh
exactly
wow.
100x for a stock. So
Yeah.
for every grand you put in, you walked away with 100 grand. I just had my buddy Jeremy message me, and he goes, Andy, this is fucking wild. You seriously, in 1 year, have made me a millionaire. So off just one
Nice.
stock.
That's
So
powerful.
he went in with $100,000 in the investment. So
Oh
you can
wow,
kind
that's
of,
balls.
yeah.
Even if I
So
got it, I don't know if you tell me to buy a penny stock. I'm going that deep, but
so and grant, and we had a little bit of insider,
yep.
plays happening there. We had some people that were working with IBM, Amazon, doing some stuff with Microsoft, and then he runs some of the projects that we're involved in, and he got put on the board of operations for Spectral Capital. So as soon as we saw him getting onto the board, knowing what he had done for the government, he did a lot of logistics and tech with the CIA for many years. So as soon as that happened, we were like, this is going to be, he's going to knock it out of the park. Worst case scenario, it gets to $1.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, it's $10 today, which is pretty wild.
Wow. Well, the next call like that, I got to get in on that.
I got you, bro. I've got you.
Jeff.
Sorry, we have guests here with the house, but I guess I need to get a Robinhood account and start getting into the stock market and everything else. That is just so many opportunities, which brings us to our friend, Nick Komadina. Now, he is a good friend to Jason Theobald. I've met him before, interviewed him before. Brilliant mind. But today we brought him on to discuss wealth, cryptocurrency, wealth management with cryptocurrency, how we all view money, because not everybody just gets handed a book on money. I know I did not get raised with good money values, which we'll kind of break that apart so you guys can find us more relatable and why we're willing to make the risk and take the chances we're willing to make. But Nick, you want to go ahead and tell everyone hello, introduce your beautiful self. You're always handsome. I'll give you that. I find you beautiful. but let everybody know where they can kind of follow you. So we kick this off, and then let's get in the topic. I'll kick it to Jay from there after you say hello.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Uh,
Oh, that voice is so good,
I'm
so good.
I'm I'm Nick. You can find me on any social media, Nick Komadina, my first and last name put together. That's me. I've been an entrepreneur for about 13 years. I've been investing for about 7 and started off in the fitness industry. That's how Jay and I connected. That's how we all connected last time. I was in the fitness industry for about 10 years. Opened up my gym, my first gym when I was 21, ran that, closed it down, went online full time, scaled that multi 7 figures, started some supplements, started some mentorship, started some clothing, kind of just did everything. Eventually realized I'd built it the wrong way, didn't want that life anymore, walked away from it, let it all crumble, reinvented myself, went on a new journey, and now I business coach and I help entrepreneurs build and scale their businesses, but we also make sure that they're not neglecting the inner work that needs to happen along the way so that they can actually become somebody who is able to hold the level of wealth that they're trying to create for themselves. So I believe wealth is an inside job. So yes, we do business scaling. Yes, we get leads. Yes, we can help people hit 50, 60,000, 7, 100K months in their business. That's all great. Yes, we can help you invest and that's all great. But who you're becoming on that journey is what's more important. So that's what we focus on.
I have to say, since the last time we chatted, you seem like you've had quite the explosion with success, specifically in cryptocurrency and all that. So what made you, when you're investing, because I didn't start my 401k till 37. It was all 401 me that Hermosi talks about. I didn't invest anything else other than myself.
Mhm.
I was not raised well with money and things like that. But when Jay talked to me about cryptocurrency, I was like, well, hell, I might as well. I mean, I'm behind the eight ball and everything else. So was that kind of like your background with it because you're younger, or were you just looking at this great opportunity? Because I think it speaks to the age difference between how we might have viewed the problems. I'm curious in your
Sure.
insight on that.
Yeah. It's a great question. Well, I grew up poor. I grew up with a single mom in a trailer park. That was it. And so I never had any sort of conditioning around money, how it works, that there was an abundance of it. It really is, it really is this very interesting view that I have of the world because there was no reason that I should have gotten out of that trailer park. There wasn't a catalyst. There wasn't somebody stepping up in leadership. I just, for some reason, had this internal pull to look for something more. And some of the kids I grew up in the trailer park still live there. Some of them have died of heroin overdoses. And it's really crazy to see that was so close to being me. So there's just always been something where I've looked at how things, quote unquote, are supposed to go and thought, I don't know, maybe there's something more. And I found it and I kept searching and I kept searching. So I've always been very curious to find more. A lot of my life I spent, quote unquote, trying to never go back to the bottom. That was my more justification. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back. So there was a lot of scarcity. There was a lot of fear involved. There was a lot of convincing myself I was running towards success, but really I was running from the parts of myself I didn't want to meet. And that's a really dangerous slope. So as cryptocurrency, and it's funny, I remember when I was personal training at my gym, one of the kids had told me about Ethereum.
Yeah.
And he had said, I'm making a shit ton of money.
Bet,
And
bet.
and I bought, 5 Ethereum at $1,500, and 2 weeks later it crashed all the way to the bottom. 2 weeks later, it crashed to $200. And at the time, that was a good chunk of money for me. Even then, I knew nothing about it, but I had this conversation of, well, if I've lost all this money, so if I keep buying this as it's low right now, eventually my average price will come down to where it is now. And even if it goes up a little bit, I can at least make my money back. That was my conversation. So I said, I'm just going to keep buying it here and there. I'll buy one a month, two a month, whatever it is. Eventually having a bag of, 80 plus Ethereum. And then it shoots up last bull run to 4,000
Yeah.
something, and you're going, huh, okay. Now, along the way, I got very curious. Along the way, I got very interested, and it really the best way that I can describe cryptocurrency to me is it is something that genuinely excites and tickles my curiosity. It's an entire new reality, and I saw very early on that it just made so much sense that this vector was ahead of its time, and that it was only at about or it was only a certain amount of time before the rest of the world caught up. And I knew that when the rest of the world caught up, it was going to be too late. So I started really diving into, what does this mean? Why is everybody so crazy about this? And anytime somebody's super crazy about something, that shows me the immaturity they have towards it. So I usually back away and try to look at, these people say it's going to go to the moon. These people say it's a complete scam. Cool. Let me find the middle ground. Let me try to disprove both of them while simultaneously trying to prove both of them right. And let me find my grounded through line. And the more I looked at it, the more bullish I got on it. The more I went, holy shit, this is really going to be, this is where the world's going. Whether I want to have an ego, whether I want to accept that the world is going to transition to this or not, there is almost no doubt in my mind that it is going to happen. And that was 5 years ago I was having this conversation. And now here we are on the brink of the first 100% crypto positive presidency, SEC regulations, ISO 222 coming out. There's all of these huge mass global adoptions happening for crypto now, and you still have non-believers.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is what fascinates me so much. People create stories and they will not look at hard facts to change the story. They'd rather be right. I'd rather be wealthy. So that's kind of my, I guess, like, quick summary of who I am, how I got into crypto and stuff like that. I'm happy to expand based on anything.
No, I think that was a great intro. I know Jay's got
Yep.
some stuff for you, and I really appreciate you being transparent because I think it helps for people to understand that it's not like you walked into wealth one day and decided, oh shit, I'm just going to take 1 million and throw it over here to crypto, and boom, I'm some bro in sweatpants and a Ferrari on the internet, So that's Andy. Just kidding. I'm just teasing now. I had to poke him.
I knew you were poking a jab at me. I knew it was coming.
I was just screwing with you because
We're
you made
jealous.
that. Yeah, no,
We
he
all
made
wish
that
we turned
comment.
that 401k into Bitcoin
Yeah,
10 years
no
ago.
doubt. But the thing with him is he was telling me about that. Remember the last episode we did? He had that example in there that he knew that weeded that guy out because of how he was dressed, and that's why I gave him that little plug. Anyway, all right, I'll just shut up and get about my thing. Jason, go ahead and kick it off, my man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways and things I want to uncover here, but before we get into kind of like how you maybe advise some people to use crypto, because that might really be helpful for our listeners,
Sure.
I'm going to tell a little story about when I reached out to Nick and some of the things he told me and how it helped me go in a certain direction. And then I'm curious about how he allocates percentages in a certain
Okay.
way. So I had been to dinner. I've played every bull run since 2018, and I get in and I get out, and then I kind of have gotten, I'll be honest, bored or sidetracked. And so I was out to dinner with someone. They reminded me that Bitcoin had halved, and I think we talked about that on Hard Conversations, one of our other podcasts. But basically, every 4 years, the Bitcoin miners, the amount they get from mining, it halves, and then usually within 6 to 7 months, that it's followed by a bull run. And so someone had told me, oh yeah, Bitcoin halved back in March or April, whatever it was, and with Trump coming in, this could be a great time. So I hit Nick up and I said, yeah, is that right? Like, we're probably looking at a bull run. And he confirms that, you never know, but most likely with everything else and the way it's looked, yes. And so this is right in November, right before Trump. And I was telling Nick about how much money I was sitting on in a money market.
Oh
And he
man.
about lost his shit on me and was like, what are you doing? And it was very, very, very high, six figures. And I'll just leave it at that. And he's like, I just don't even get that. And, I told him how it made me so good to see it in my bank account. And he goes, that's a scarcity mindset. And we can talk about that. And he's right. So at that point, I put more of it in stock, which has made me maybe 10% since then. I took about 200 of it, I'll just tell you guys, and Nick allowed me to see his portfolio. Um, and I'm not going to talk any specifics about his stuff. He can do whatever he wants on that,
Yeah, I'm an open book.
yeah.
I'm here to talk about money.
So he was heavily into crypto, in my opinion, and he just let me see his purchases, and he let me see where he was going to get out. And so that was awesome as hell, right? I mean, just literally an insider into someone who's been doing this for a while. So I started researching, and I came upon hbar. And to me, it looked like it was almost bottomed out at 4 cents. It had been down to 3, but for my mind, it was like, okay, I can park a sizable amount of money in here. It's probably not going to go down. And if Trump wins, I'm going to win big. So before we know it, I'm up about $200,000 in this position, maybe even more. And Nick's telling me, don't sell, don't sell. And as it starts to come down, I got rid of it all. Now, I made a lot of money, but if I had kept it for now, I'd have been up way more.
Mm-hmm.
And HBAR's probably going to go to $1, and I had 2.2 million of those coins. Now I've only got 500 because I bought back in at a higher price.
It's all good. Still money.
It's all good. I still made plenty of cash, and it's better to make money in a crypto than to lose it. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that scarcity mindset. And I can tell the listeners where it comes from for me, but what do you see with your mentees on that? And what does that usually come from? How did you get out of that? Because I mean, listen, I can't say I had the same story as you. I can explain how my parents were, and we definitely were tight, but very middle class because they knew what to do, not because they made a lot.
Yeah.
But how did you get out of that mindset to park that kind of money in crypto?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you probably have more than that than in stock, whereas I have most of my sizable positions in stock.
I'm not in the stock market at all.
Okay, so let's go down that scarcity mindset when you said that about me. And how do you get people, how do you walk people through that to say, okay, yeah, someone's making 50 grand now, but if they don't know money principles, they could be spending 45 and they're
Right.
getting nowhere. So how do you walk people through that? And what made you kind of say that about me? And then we'll kind of just go from there.
Yeah. So when you don't have a plan, you make mistakes. First things first. When we don't have a plan, we rush. When we rush, we make mistakes. We're very chaotic in our energy. So when I say, we have to back up quite a bit here, but when I say wealth is an inside job, what I mean is a figurative and literal sense of this, because money is energy. And you can feel this because when you saw you were up 200K in like 2 weeks, how'd your body feel? Insane.
Great. I was a dopamine rush,
Yes.
looking at it every
Yes.
day.
Because there was so much energy that you were deriving from that money.
Yep.
So what happens is if somebody's nervous system is not calibrated to a certain level of wealth, once you reach that almost threshold that you can handle from a physiological standpoint, you're like, get this away from me. I literally can't handle anymore. And that's when we sell, buy, fuck up, sabotage, do all these things. And so that's why people can come in and they can scale their business to $50,000 months. And then 3 months later, they're back down to $5,000 months. I see this all the time. Their wealth is slow, rich is fast. And when you can slowly build up your reservoir of the amount of money that you calibrate to spending and receiving. So let's just say right now for somebody listening, spending $500 gives them a physical sensation in their body. Oof, that's a lot of money. Oof, I hope that comes back to me. Oof, how do I know? Cool. That there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a really easy indicator that my nervous system is calibrated to quote unquote giving $500. So more than likely, you're going to still get the same nervous system response if I were to give you $500 with no strings attached. Now, what happens is because you are still calibrated at, we'll say, a lower level of wealth, you're still looking at a very level one leveraged materialistic viewpoint of money, where I have to trade my time for money. So if I give you $500, you're sitting here and you're looking at the world and saying, okay, that's 5 hours of work, or that's 2 days worth of work that I just got back. And if I do $500, now I can pay my bill, that's my car payment for this month. You start looking at money as trades. So I've got this money, now I can go give it to this thing, right? It's a bill paying transaction. When you start to level up above that more and more and more, and it just takes time, so back to November, I think I did about 1.3 million in profit November alone in my portfolio. And that was the most money I've ever made in a month by far. and it literally gave me no nervous system response.
Okay.
But people look at that and go, "Holy shit, you made $1.3 million in a month." And I say, "No, I made $1.3 million over 6 years."
Yeah.
What you don't understand is how much I was spending without getting any return for four and a half of
Yeah.
those.
Right.
What you didn't see is how many times I swung and missed, invested money, and it completely went to zero. You don't know that I've lost well over $2 million dollars in the market because I didn't know what I was doing, because I was making these investments. I wasn't being secure. I was frantic because I needed an investment to change my life.
Mm.
So that is where when we're in that space, and it's just like kind of like you, right? When you were like, "Holy shit, I've made so much money, I have to sell."
Yep.
And it's like you actually don't have to.
I didn't even need it. No, I didn't.
But you don't actually, but this is the conversation people have, right? My money's doubled. I have to sell. The humble thing for me to do. I don't want to get greedy. I don't want to, and we start to create this story. And anytime we have a story, we're using parts of our past to create that story. So
$100%.
there's almost like this moral self-righteousness we feel when we've made a quote unquote good amount of money, and then we get out and we think like, pat on my back. I'm a good person. I'm not greedy. I've made my money. And like we were talking about, I said, dude, even from a fundamental standpoint, I cannot see a scenario where hbar, for example, does not hit a dollar. That's my first sell point, because I am so convicted that with the integrations of that project alone, I personally think
Amazing.
it's going to hit closer to 2 to 2.5 this run based on it, but 2.5 would be like
Yep.
holy shit for me. But for that, like, when I know that and I see that and I see somebody selling at 27 cents or 28 cents or whatever it was,
Yep.
to me, I'm like, man, and like, right, what you just said, like, oh, if I would have waited one more month, I'd have been up like twice as much as that. So it's like, there is a, it's kind of like the Spider-Man quote: with great power comes great responsibility. Money is power, no matter which way you want to look at it. And when we see all of this money that we've just made all at once, there's almost this story of, I don't want to be responsible for more of that. So let me just like cash out, or let me just get away with it and let me go spend it right now so I can bask in my thing. And then, so it's interesting. If you were going to sell it and then rebuy back in right away, why even sell in the first
I
place?
know. I did. Well, my thinking was, and this is what I did, and I don't think it was necessarily wrong, but like I had gotten crushed in the 2018 bull market. I put
Mhm.
like 25 in. I was up 110. I didn't know shit. I thought it was just going to keep going, and it all.
Isn't that when you left my group, Jason? Was
Yeah.
like 2018?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I had to throw that
It
punch
is.
out there. I
It
had to
is.
throw the punch out
It
there.
is. And it all came crumbling down on me.
I like
And
how we
so
all
I
burn
think
each
I
other.
was feeling that pain, and it started to fall down. Like I was up 212K and now it's up about 150. And I'm like, dude, I got to protect this. And
Right.
they're like, no, bro, it's going to go to a buck at least. Just chill. And I just couldn't. I got
Yeah.
out. And then I took the profit and put it back in, but bought higher, right? And now I have, a quarter of the coins I had. Um, but I think it was a past experience that defined that.
100%.
Yeah.
Emotions are a record of the past.
Yep.
So anytime you look at something and there starts to be scarcity, or this fear of pain, this fear of what if I lose it all, that's
Yep.
coming from somewhere.
Yep.
Because and this is, the work that I do with my students, is when you really are of the inner self, when you really are of spirit, so to speak, not to get super hyper spiritual, right? But we can just use, for an example, God in this experience, and whatever you believe in,
Sure.
change God to whatever that is. But God is this creator of the universe, right? And everywhere you look in the universe, there is nothing but abundance. When is the last time that you ever went to take a big breath in and worried whether or not there was going to be oxygen?
Yeah.
We don't do that. We just have this deep inner knowing that whenever I need oxygen, all I have to do is demand it come into my nostrils.
Mhm.
Now, there's a whole different story we have about money, because society has kind of created this thing I talked about a little bit earlier, where there's this moral self-righteousness for not having money. There's almost this play of, well, I don't want to talk about how much money I have because that's
Yeah.
braggadocious,
Yep.
or that's conceited, or this. And you look at even the Bible, so to speak, wealth is biblical. In the Bible, it talks about men having the power to, create wealth. And you look all around the universe, the biggest show ever. We're living in it. And so you have this energy of God, so to speak. And God only knows how to play big. And so we think for some reason it's humble for us to play small. But what to me could be more spiritual, what to me could be more in alignment with the highest of all highs than using the hands that I were given to produce wealth and letting, say, God bear witness to the strength of his creation and allowing everybody else to see that energy through my life. So when I come on here and I say, yeah, I literally opened up my account and I was up 1.2 million in a month. That's not me. Like I didn't do that. That doesn't give me kudos to my skill set unless somebody doesn't understand the market. And that's what's really dangerous in a bull market.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
can go invest, make $1 million in a month and say, "Hey, here's my group. Hey, here's these things."
Yep.
And now everybody thinks that they're an expert. It's fucking dangerous. And that is why so many people are afraid to get into the market because everybody wants to feel like an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just stop there.
Some
So
things that
no,
Nick
Nick,
pointed out there, if I can just summarize it for the listeners, he was investing in the bear market. So there was a pretty down time, guys, for 3 years before this.
When I tell you, just a side note real quick, that I have been personally, and my business does very well. And my salary personally is $15,000 a month. That's what I get for running the business. It doesn't change. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. I make $15,000. And after all things are paid, any money that is left, I put immediately into the market
Oh,
every
wow.
single month for 4 years,
Oh, shit. Damn.
right? But imagine
That's
having that.
conviction, though, man, because I know that's big
Exactly.
dollars because I
But
know
but
your business
imagine
as well.
imagine having that level of conviction in something and imagine training your nervous system to not need an immediate return on investment when you spend money. Imagine the amount of trust that you have to build in yourself. Imagine the amount of certainty you have to have in your intuition,
Yeah.
into your beliefs, into your views. So when I see, myself and like, dude, 2 days ago, I made $250,000 in a day.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but when I see that and I look at it and I just say, yeah, that's awesome. That feels good. People are like, what? You don't understand.
Yeah.
This to me, I have been meditating and envisioning this exact quantum leap of my life for the last 6 years. I have experienced this almost every morning for the last 5 to 6 years in my mind. This isn't a gamble. This isn't a, oh my God, I got lucky. This was no shit, this was going to happen. I haven't stopped for 6 years.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I wish I would have had that kind of conviction after, I'm kind of one of the guys that get in on the bull run. I'm in now, like I love it. I'm addicted, but so I'm always kind of looking forward to the bear run where I can just stock some coins and things come
Mhm.
down. But I'll kick it over to Andy. Andy, has been in this for a long time, Nick, and I'm sure I saw him smiling with some of the things you said. So I'm sure they either hit a bell or he wants to ask you about something. So Andy,
yeah, no, I was just over here enjoying it because I mean everything that Nick has said is almost been what I've radiated for the last, what, 12 plus years in the crypto market. And I've been an active trader now for 19 years. And at every conference I speak at, events, anything I'm invited to, it's that same thing that I keep trying to preach to people that, when people get excited over these small amounts of money, like he was talking about, to me, it's almost like where you think really small. It's that dopamine rush that, oh, I've got this, I got this. And then they just stop thinking about everything else.
Mhm.
And, like Nick saying that he made $250,000 last month. And then, he had his $1 million month and stuff like that. And he was like, it didn't phase me. It didn't bother me. That was part of life. It's just part of all the work I put in prior. And I don't think people understand how important that is when it comes to trading and just being active in the
Mhm.
markets, is because as excited as you get for those wins, typically that excitement also leaves your body when you have the losses, or you're refreshing your portfolio and it's not giving you the gains that you want, or you're taking a trade and it's going in the opposite direction. And like Nick said too, if I had to guess, which I don't know him that well, I've seen some of his stuff on social media. I actually just started following him now because I'm like, okay, this guy's legit. I love his story. I love where he's at. He's not having to live off that money.
Mhm.
If he's having to take the money that he's investing in crypto and all these projects that he's in, if that went to zero, it's not going to probably change his life. It's not going to change his
Oh,
lifestyle. It's not going to change.
that might change my life for a little bit. That might hurt quite a bit if we're going to be honest, but it's all good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to change. Like, you're not going to be homeless. You're not going to go without food.
You're saying you
You're
can
not going
pay
to
his
have those
bills
things.
and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what happens with so many people that I see now, especially with Bitcoin, taking off a little bit, getting the momentum with, traction with cryptocurrency in general. People are taking money that will change the way they live. It'll change their housing situation, their car situation, how they eat, the things they do with their kids, their wife. And they're just taking that money and pushing it all over here,
Yeah.
hoping that something's going to happen. And they do that almost, it's that medium range to the high range of a bull market. Never at the beginning. It's the medium to the high.
They're the
And then when
retail
we
investors, right? They're the people that
exactly,
all of the strategic people like ourselves.
yep,
Fortunately, I need those people because somebody has to hold the bag when I sell. And
exactly,
I can do as much possible and teach as much as possible. But when people finally see Bitcoin at 200,000 and they go, oh my God, it's going to go to a million because everybody's delusional when things are happening. Oh, I better buy in now before it hits a million. And then, we know.
but it goes back to, and that's why I was smiling and kind of clapping silently over here when he talked about the social media like hype people,
Mhm.
where he said all it takes is one good bull run and then they think they know the market
Yeah.
forever. And we saw the same thing because obviously I'm an avid stock trader. I trade a lot of foreign currencies. I trade a lot of precious metals, and the same thing happened when COVID hit. When COVID hit
Oh,
and the market tanked,
oh yeah.
everyone became an influencer for the stock market, for cryptocurrency, for the forex market, and everything.
Dude,
And
honestly, Andy, even for business coaching, because this is
yeah,
like the market that I'm in. Everybody can be successful in business during a bull market.
exactly.
That's what
And
people don't understand.
that's what we saw. We saw the market continually just going up, and all these people are live streaming, they're live trading because they're taking buys, they're buying everything. Anything you bought was making you money. You buy the Dow Jones, making you money. The Nasdaq making you money. All the commercial airlines making money. And when the market started consolidating, you started watching all these people online who had become the hype men, the professionals. Now they're changing their business strategy. They're coming in with clothing companies. They're starting to do, marketing companies. They're opening up painting companies, development companies. And their reasoning for that was, well, I want to spread out my wealth. But I'm sitting there thinking, hold on a second. If you're telling people that you're making a 500,000, to $750,000 a month, why in the world would you create a business selling t-shirts or doing landscaping when you can do that behind a computer? And it's because you started to see then that, oh wow, they just got lucky within the environment that they were at. They took full advantage of it. And like Nick said, it gets people in that position of they're tagging to those people, they're applying their money to those people, they're applying their life to
Yeah.
those people, hoping those people are going to elevate their life as well. And then when it all comes crashing down, they're kind of left holding a bag saying, where do I go next? And that's, to me, that's what demotivates people to want to get involved when they see people like Nick, when they see people like the guys here on this podcast that are doing well in business, doing well in investing. They even sit back and say, well, can that even be real? Because I
Mm,
watched a guy do it for 2 years and then he lost everything. And
right.
it's like, well, because the guy did it for 2 years that lost everything was never really a true person to begin with.
Yeah, it's like don't look at who has it, look at who's kept it. That's
Yeah.
always a good frame to go
I
into.
like that.
Anybody can get it short term. Who's kept it the longest? And when I say, hey, I've
Mhm.
been an entrepreneur for 13 years. I've scaled every successful business I've ever touched consistently, different markets, different niches. Like I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to business, and I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to investing. If anybody shouldn't have this level of wealth because of an upbringing, it's me, and I'm here, and I've stayed here, and I'm not going anywhere. If anything, I'm going higher. But back to the conversation of people needing a trade to change their lives. This is why in my community for business coaching, right, we have different tiers based on income brackets and stuff of different support, but we don't even open up any of the investment wealth creation aspect of any teachings until the cash flow in somebody's business is recurring at $10,000 a month. So you have to earn your right to invest. You have to earn the right to be able to invest income. And most people do not realize that. Most people are trying to invest. This is the conversation. Well, if I invest $1,000 right now and it 12x's, that'll give me $1,000 extra a month. So I don't have to worry about, I can take it a little bit easier for the next year. These are the conversations that people have when they're in scarcity. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. I used to do the same thing, so I get it. I've done every single math trade in the book when it came to money that I was making. If I'm making an extra 500 a month, then I could have 3 clients cancel a month and I can still be good. So that gives me this. I've done it all. I've done it
Yeah.
all. And so there's 3 levers of wealth. There is cash flow, there is multiplication of money, and then there is tax sheltering. So how much cash flow do you have? If that is not in a good spot, investing is not even a conversation. It's actually irresponsible to have that conversation, in my opinion. Everybody can do what they want. But
No,
if
you're right.
once cash flow is at $10,000 a month, then we can talk about multiplying 5 to 100,000 a month going into the market. Once you're making a certain amount, then we can talk about how to shelter you from and position you more effectively for the taxation system. But they're one at a time. They're not all at once. And that's what really fucks people up. People can hear us talk, right? Like Jason did 200K in like 2 weeks. I did 1.2 in a month. I did 250 yesterday. Oh my God, I got to get into this right now. No, 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 no. My business does consistent 6-figure months every month. I have the cash flow to invest. You're damn right. I should be making this type of return on my investments, right? The scale in which you view yourself is going to dictate the quality of decisions that you make, and it's going to create the quality of the outcomes, and then that's going to create the story of whether or not it's for you or not.
Yeah.
See, I think you bring up a good point because money was not role modeled very well to me.
Yeah.
I love my mom was great to me in certain aspects, but one area she really failed us was my dad was, for all intents and purposes, like a defense contractor in the 80s and 90s. So we're talking buku money. And I remember he got like 40 grand in stocks in like I think 91. So it's a lot of money in 91. And
Yeah, totally.
she bought a car, she got all new clothes for all of us, like the house got all new furniture and
That was
things like
gone.
that. Yeah, it was gone. And then I would watch her be like, well, I really want to get these things, so I'm just not going to pay the cable, the electric, and all that. And I'm talking like I was raised in Farragut, which is a well-known suburb outside Knoxville, Tennessee. Everybody back then was upper middle class. We were more in that middle to upper middle class zone with the money. And I have never really trusted myself with money because of it. I had to like really, really learn how to like let go of it because I'm the guy that will like put it underneath my mattress and just look at it and just smell it to know it's there.
Mhm.
And when it's away from me, it scares me. And it's for no other reason than,
Yeah.
I value who I am. I value what I'm able to do and the money I can create. Yes, but I don't value my ability to responsibly take care of money. So with
Can I
that
ask
being,
a question, Jeff?
sure, yeah.
So, do you guys know about attachment styles, like relationship attachment styles, avoidant, anxious, secure, stuff like that?
Why
Uh,
don't you give us a little
I've probably
intro
been
about
called a lot of them in my past, but for
Okay.
intents and purposes of this episode, no.
So the one I want to the attachment style I want to highlight real quick is the anxious attachment style in a relationship, which relationships are where we derive love. Love is worth, love is survival, love is worthiness. So the anxious attachment style essentially is I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Something bad's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Does this person actually love me? When your partner's with you in the home and it's just you guys, it's amazing. You're in love. The second they go out the door and you don't hear from them for 4 hours, you go, are they going to come back? Did they meet somebody else? There's all of these stories about like what ifs. Am I good enough? Is she going to leave me? Are there, and so what I have found through my research with my students and the work that I do is that typically the relationship attachment style we have in love is the same that we have with money. So when somebody's an anxious attachment style with love, they also have that anxious attachment style with money because same thing, money and love kind of are the two biggest things that we pedestal as humans. And funny
Yeah.
enough, we actually
Yeah.
coincidentally combine them. So where I have money, I am worthy of love. Where I don't have money, I'm not worthy of love. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
especially
See
true
that a
for
lot.
men.
Yep.
So it's really interesting to see how much these attachment styles map over. And if we get rid of money and we get rid of love, it really comes back down to our own worthiness.
I
It's just a
actually
worthiness wound.
No, I think that's well said. I have a question I want to follow up though, based upon that though. So, given I've had poor role modeling and I just have this attachment style thing, and I've heard Dave Ramsey, I think I used some of his
Oh
stuff
boy.
before in the past. Great. Well, yeah, you just said, oh boy, there you go.
And I've told you
How
too.
Yeah.
I know, just let me go
Dave
because
Ramsey. Well, hang on. Dave Ramsey is absolutely incredible if you want to keep yourself at the bottom of middle class.
Yep.
yeah,
So
so
if that's where
I
you want to
love that.
be,
I
but
dude,
love that.
he
but so
crushes it.
So
Pay
that's
off your
where,
bill, pay off your house, don't leverage money,
Yeah. He's
yeah,
also worth like $150 million. So he's definitely not playing by those rules, but it's all
Yeah.
good. That's,
Yeah.
that's another.
well,
But Nick, what you just said, and sorry to interrupt,
oh,
you said it will keep you in the bottom of middle class, but we have to understand too, especially for the audience, the middle class is almost completely cut out.
Yeah, it
So
won't
pretty
exist.
much.
when you're in the bottom of middle class, while that sounds good because it's kind of like the
No, no.
medium mediocre range, that's
Mhm.
basically putting you at the high level of poverty.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, this will be this season that we're in right now, and I would say probably rounding the end of 2026 if I had to give a prediction when we have another, I guess, crash, so to speak. I think crypto will top out a little sooner than that, actually a lot sooner than that. But I think come 2026 range, we're going to see a massive separation of the classes. I think middle class will be gone, and then it will either be upper class or poverty. And where you end on that spectrum is dictated by the actions that you take right now.
Yeah.
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 So speak of that, that's where I was going because,
Yep.
a
Well
lot of
said.
people are going to identify as middle class here in this. Like, they've got to figure out where they put their money. Do I put my money in like Jason's mutual fund account that gets a 4.25% interest? How
No,
much money should I have in my savings account? How much
none.
money should I be saving? See, these are things though that to me, when I hear this, my first instinct is, well, yeah, shit, if my water heater goes out, I'm fucked. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yeah,
how do you coach people through that where
yeah.
they kind of
That's a good
balance,
question.
the long-term vision versus the short-term
Yeah.
stress of seeing things you're taught
So
go
this,
away?
yeah, it's a phenomenal question. And the first thing to really understand here is when I am super stressed, and let's just look at this from like an energetic signaling to the subconscious mind. When I need to have $100,000 in my savings account no matter what, and it's just me. Now, if you have a team and you have bills and you have, overhead, that makes sense, right? As a responsible business owner, you want to have 6 months, et cetera. But if it's just you and you have $100,000, or even if it's $10,000, and you say, I only feel good when that money's there, that's my safety net. What I'm also saying is, I don't trust myself to continuously produce. That
Mhm.
there's a signal there.
Really?
I do not trust myself to always produce income, so therefore I must have this safety blanket. And
Yep.
so the other way to really look at this that I've helped a lot of people with is let's just take Coinbase for an example. Okay, Coinbase, the app, it's on your
Yep.
phone. You can connect your bank account to it. So what I just said, you can connect your bank account to it. So if you have $100,000 in your savings, now, Lexi, let me back up real quick. Let me ask you guys a question. If I offered you the choice between two different bank accounts, one bank account, the money that you saw in the account never fluctuated. It was very stable. It stayed there. Every time you looked in it, it was the same price. Or I gave you another bank account, and one day you opened it, it was down 20%. Another day you opened it, it was up 40%. The next day it was down 50%, et cetera. Which one, just from those two notions alone, would you want your bank account to look like?
Steady one,
So
right?
The steady one, right. Now, what if I told you that if you zoomed out over the course of the year, the steady one was actually dropping 10% and the volatile one was actually going up 25%? Which one would you want?
The volatile one.
The
You would want
volatile.
the one, you would
yeah,
want the
I'm
one because here's the thing, volatility is based on how far in you're looking. If
Mhm.
you zoom out, there is such a steady climb in crypto assets. And they actually have the studies that the longer you hold even stocks, the longer you hold a stock, the higher the likelihood of profiting. So the higher you hold money in a savings account, the certainty you have for losing that money. The value of the dollar is going down at an alarming rate. We have, and remember, they don't take the money out of your account, they just make eggs $8. They make milk $7, right?
Yeah.
So you think that you're saving money. You think a high yield savings account making you 4% interest is good, but if inflation's 9, it's not a high yield saving, it's just a slower losing account. You're just losing your money not as slow or not as fast. That's it. So how about this? What if you were to take that $100,000 of savings and put it into Coinbase in Bitcoin and you just held it? Because at any point in time, you could access those funds the same exact way you could access your savings account.
Yeah.
That's the,
I mean,
and if you can
it's
look at it as a bank account that fluctuates a little bit, you're able to just position yourself just if you did nothing else and just did that, you could position yourself a little bit more effectively.
I mean that's what I mean I got my Coinbase card right here. And I mean, that's the same thing I do. I throw all of, I mean, people laugh at me because I'll show it online. I'll take like a trading account. So yesterday, I took a quick little trade, made like 32 grand. I took that $32,000, made my withdrawal, and I'll make my withdrawal in USDT. That goes directly into my Coinbase account. As soon as it hits there, then I start spreading it amongst the coins that I want. So
Hmm.
I start spreading all the money out. And today I come here to get coffee at this coffee shop. I'm using my Coinbase card. And people will say, dude, why are you using that money? Why are you using that money? You should use your bank account. And I was like, guys, you don't understand. My bank account is empty.
Yeah, this is my bank
Like,
account.
and I'm on a live stream
I'm
right now.
not there yet, guys. I'm not there yet.
I will show you because this is something
I'm
we
mind blown right now.
want to talk about transparency, obviously, because that's what we talk about here. And this is a podcast, and this will show people.
See that bank
I'll-
account?
So look, yeah, I'm gonna show.
You
I
guys
will
see
show
that?
you.
You guys see that amount in my
Dude,
bank
Nick, you still don't want to see mine.
So I will show you.
$95. $95 in my bank account.
I think I just popped a hemorrhoid for you, Ed.
All right, are you ready? So how much do you have in your bank account?
$95.
Okay, so
I'm gonna lose this.
you've got me beat. Because right now I only have. Hold on a second. It didn't see my face. Come on. I'm hoping I've got Nick beat, and I hope I have less money in my account.
Isn't that
All right,
funny?
total combined, my personal account right now is 16 cents. I've got an insurance account with $41 and my business account at 20. Right
Wow.
there it is.
You do have me beat then.
I mean, right there, it's $61.42.
Yeah, I have 90. I have 95.
I won't tell them all, but just sitting in my money market with just making me 1%, I got 190K parked, and Nick's about to throw up. I'm still struggling to put that.
Nick just had a stroke and a seizure on
Nick,
my body.
And I got.
Nick said it.
I'll just be honest with everyone. I got 71K sitting in my personal checking, and that makes me feel good.
But here's the thing, for what?
It makes me feel good.
I don't know, but
But
let's go deeper than that.
And I've even made money in the.
I want to
in
hear
crypto,
what.
right?
I
And
want to
make
hear
money in
Andy
stock.
say
I don't.
something. Andy's chirping to say something real quick. And
I
then
am,
Nick,
man,
take your point.
because Nick said it best. And this is something that, so I've got, obviously, I've been mentoring people for years. Like I've actually had people stay at my house for a year as I'm mentoring them out of college. You know, I had one guy went to college to become a nurse, was
Sounds a little
unhappy. And
creepy.
I'm like, dude, you're moving in with me. Now, granted, background checks, the whole 9 yards. And it was kind of one of those things where I said, I want to see what I can take one individual who's unhappy with his life personally instead of just online all this stuff. And before you know it, I mean, the kid now is, you know, he's running a multi-million-dollar company. He's got, you know, 6 figures, almost 7 figures plus of investments. That's
Good
all
for him.
happened within a year, coming from a nurse, negative money, paying back student loans. But the same thing I kept telling him when he was afraid to invest money as he was making money, I said, if you're not willing to take the money in your bank account and put it in other things over here, it means you're not comfortable with yourself to make more money. And Nick just said it best. So for me, when people see me empty my bank account to go in all these investments and all this crypto, they go, Andy, does that not scare you? How are you going to pay for food? How are you going to pay for gas? It's like, I have a card right here that when I opened up my account today, I'm up 46% across the board. That 46%, as I'm buying coffee, my coffee isn't going to eat up 0.0001% of that as I'm paying for gas at the pump. So that money, when you look at the larger view, like Nick said, it shows it going up even higher. So essentially, the money that you're throwing in there, you're spending money for free. So like,
I dig it.
Well, yeah. So like, you know, I get it. Like you put it in Bitcoin, I'd be up majorly if I've done this for all my life. But it's like at 102 today. What if it drops to 80K and I put 90 in there?
Right. So yeah, I did want to just like maybe create like a devil's advocacy stance here, right? Because I think it could be really easy to listen to us talking about how Andy's driving this Ferrari and, you know, I'm making millions, and people go, okay, well, if that's what they're doing, then I must act exactly as they are doing right now in order to have that life. And that's not true. So when we sit here and say, hey, I don't have any money in my bank account, that's really not a great stance to have for somebody if they don't have cash flow, if they aren't consistently producing income, if they aren't, you know, if they aren't diversified in those cash flow stances, right? So it's like, Jason, I know you do well.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I don't, I trust my
but
ability to
right,
produce.
right.
I
But
don't know
here's the thing:
why I'm like,
you have multiple companies. Your cash
correct.
flow is very consistent
Very
and
good.
well deserved. You do incredible work. You're one
Yep.
of the people I trust the absolute most in the industry because you've been so consistent. So it would just make sense that you get heavily compensated now for the
Correct.
time and the risks that you've had to build that. No other employee in your company has ever taken the risks that you have when there was no money, and
Yep.
so that is why you deserve to make money. Period. Right? And so even if you were to take that 70K and you put it into Bitcoin, you go, what happens if it goes to 80? Your cash flow is the same. And so
Yeah,
that
true.
is where that conversation for me comes from is my cash flow is only going up because my output is only going up.
Yep.
My business is only growing because I am continuously serving people. I continuously get results. All of my clients fucking crush it. I mean, you saw in my story, one of my clients is up $100,000 in the last 2 months in their investment account.
Yep.
So imagine having a mentor teaching you to grow your business and also amplify your wealth so much that you're basically quadrupling your business income without even having to lift an extra finger.
Yep.
I should be making this money in my investments because of the work that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And so when I can have that certainty of I'm walking a path that is fully in alignment with what I believe to be true, and I'm genuinely serving people to the best of my ability, that right there is the divine path. And the divine path is abundant in nature. So I'm here to trust that. I'm not here to play defense when I'm walking the divine path. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I don't know if it's my upbringing. I don't know what it is because my income's only done this for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And I've got a shit ton in stock. It doesn't do amazing. I've got, about 150 in crypto that's up at 2x.
Yeah.
I just struggle to
Yeah.
not have those big cushions in my bank account, and I'm working on it, but I
This
don't.
is this is conditioning. So this is, like you said, it's like you kind of I know you're not like beating yourself up, but there
Yeah.
is like this little tone of like, fuck, why can't I?
Yep.
And there needs to be a little bit more compassion and curiosity if we want to unlearn and relearn new things.
Yeah.
So, and this is again a huge part of the work that I do for entrepreneurs because it's so important.
Yep.
You have, you know, 120 years of conditioning. I'm just kidding. That was an old joke. Um, but
I'm,
you have,
I'm about there.
you have decades of conditioning and reinforcing a specific story to you about money.
Yep.
Us to think that when somebody makes one investment one time and makes triple their money, that story's gone
Yeah.
is dangerous. And that's also why so many people lose their asses in business and money because we're not doing the inner work to find the story, heal the story, and then redirect the story.
Yep.
So you'll just keep sabotaging and moving in a way to make that story true.
And, I even having that kind of access to cash and like, I'm constantly having a good income come in monthly. Even if I spend 15K, like I just bought some AI coins last week, that
Mhm.
still made me go, ooh, that's tough,
So
And
let me challenge you on this right now. I think this is a good
yep.
conversation for everybody. So my philosophy with investing is that if my investment doesn't bring me peace, I either don't know enough about it to make it or I shouldn't be making it. And honestly, I just shouldn't be making it. Right?
Yeah.
So if you and I'm not saying you don't do any research, but let's just say you've done zero. For
Okay.
sake of conversation,
Yep.
you have no idea. All you did was look on Twitter and saw the trending AI coins and you were like,
Yep.
perfect. And so you put $15,000 in there and it feels like a gamble.
Yep.
That is going to be why we have that. Ooh, fuck. Because if I were
Okay.
to give you a crystal ball and I said, Jason, whatever you invest in this right now in 3 months' time is going to 8x. Oh, that 70K couldn't get out of your account fast enough.
100%.
Exactly. So there's certainty on one side versus the other. There's almost this conditioned certainty that if money leaves my account, that's bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so money is energy. Whatever energy and emotion I feel when I'm giving the money, I'm sending that energy out, and that energy is going to come back to me in some way, shape, or form. Right? That's
Okay.
the law of reciprocity. So it's whatever I give is going to come back. So if I, and this is like I even real shit. I take this so seriously. I'm a subconscious rewiring auto suggestion king. I literally have post-it notes all over that are telling me certain things about my life and myself that I'm willing to do and not do. my content team, for example, if I think that they're being lazy for the month and I'm having an issue with the content they're putting out and they send me the bill
Yeah.
and I feel this like, I don't want to fucking pay these guys. Oh,
Yeah.
I literally will call them and say, hey, I can't send this money to you until I don't feel this way. So we need to have a conversation about what I'm feeling, where I think you guys dropped the ball, and I need to know exactly what you're going to do to remedy this next month.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
and if I don't feel good about it, we're gonna have to wait until I do to send you this money because I'm not transferring my energy anywhere unless I feel good about the return.
So the ones I feel great about, you're right, are the ones I've researched more. Like I have my most amount in hbar. I've read the shit of it. I could tell you a lot more about it than I could
Mhm.
about the AI coins. So
Yeah. So there
that
you go.
that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super simple. Like it's like it sometimes it's just not that deep, right? Like
Yeah.
I just haven't done enough research to me to have full certainty in this investment. So I'm a little about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Makes
Easy.
sense.
But yeah, the gaming vector is obviously set to pop. It still hasn't. I think once it hits like a 40 billion market cap, it's gonna fucking fly.
Yeah.
I'm not super into the gaming vector. I have Sandbox is my number
I have
one
seen,
for
yeah,
that.
me too. Yeah, I bought it when you kind of said something. So that's
Yeah, I mean, you look at, and this is just where research comes into play. And I don't even have a shit ton of research on Sandbox, but when I lived in San Diego, we had this store at the mall where you could go. You guys seen the videos where you can go in with your friends and it's virtual reality and you're all shooting
yeah.
zombies and shit. And
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
warehouse like freaking out. That is Sandbox.
Okay. Yeah.
So and because the store in San Diego was called Sandbox, and so once I put two and two together, I went, oh motherfucker,
Yeah.
virtual reality gaming isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's going to get mass adopted.
Yeah.
And I've seen firsthand this project and how the line out the door for people to use this. So that is a certainty for me in terms of where I think that's going to go. And I mean, last run it was at like
Yeah.
$8.60 or
Yeah.
something.
And
It's
it's like
pretty,
66 today
it's
or something.
60 cents. Where else in this world could you get a 11x on your money? In
Yeah.
my opinion, full certainty.
Yeah.
And that's like my base cost selling point is back to its all-time high.
Yeah. And until then, you're just going to hold.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think what would be nice here, because we're getting towards the end, I think, yeah, we are. So someone's listening to this and they're like, man, that resonates with me. We're the market is heating up. A lot of positions are already up 10x, 5x. Where does someone go if they're like, hey, I do want to get involved here, but like I have a dollar price tag on hbar. It's sitting at 37 cents. I have some of my friends said, hey, should I get in now? Jeff and I have been in since 4 cents and 13 cents. I tell them it may go to a dollar, but I don't know. I was like, it's great tech. You could hold it long term. I'm dollar cost averaging in. I put $500 every month into it on the 15th and it just goes in. I
Mhm.
feel good about those. And I need to increase those actually. Where does someone go? Andy and Nick, Nick, what are you telling your people right now who did pass that 10,000 and you say, here's a great place to build wealth. What do people
Yeah.
go into? Andy, and then I'll kick it, Andy and Nick.
So first, are you asking like what my top picks are?
Well, I'm asking if someone right now has the flow, but they are not really into the crypto market right now, but they love our conversation and they think this is an asset area I need to at least.
Yeah.
Where do they go? Because it has already pumped in some areas. Do they look at areas like gaming that hasn't? Do
Well,
they get
yeah,
into
yeah.
hbar because of long-term potential so damn
Got it.
good? Like I don't know. Like where
Got
where
it.
do they go?
Yeah. So my answer to this is actually incredibly simple. You know what decision to make on an investment based on the timeline you're giving yourself of that investment. So I have a 3-year rule. Any money I put into the market, I have an agreement with myself that I do not need this money for 3 years.
Okay, I can answer
I
that one.
if
Yep.
I feel like I need this money in less than 3 years, I do not put this money into anything. So
Okay.
when I do that, it pulls me out to zoom out. So let's just do some math here. Okay. So 37 cents for
Yep.
H bar. Should
Yep.
I get in right now? Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. What is your time frame of which you want to sell and make money on this? Within a month? Probably not. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't need any returns right now. Okay. Are you going to be upset that you bought at 37 cents when it hits a dollar?
No.
No, probably not. Okay. Well, then if those boxes are true, then if that is your risk tolerance, then it would make sense that H bar is a good investment.
Got it.
But maybe instead of just hearing these meatheads talk out of their asses about it, maybe go do your own research.
Yep.
Maybe actually go look, because I don't invest in a project unless it excites me.
Yeah.
And like truthfully, I don't know Andy's stance on this, so I might put my foot in my mouth, but I same thing with how I think you have to earn the right to invest. I also think you have to earn the right to be a degen in the space. And
Yep.
so I think you have to earn your right to meme coins. I think you have to earn your right to all of these higher gamble things. So if you have no exposure to very high quality protective assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, that you should get exposure to those two things first, regardless. And then you earn your right to buy the other coins. And then once you're good there, then you earn the right to have some fun with some small cash on the side for meme coins.
Gotcha.
People try to go straight for a meme coin because they're like, well, if I
Oh
if
man.
I buy Trump
Yeah.
Comrock,
Yep.
if I buy Trump Cum Rocket 69 and it goes up, this, I could be $10 billion.
Yep.
It's funny, Nick, you said that because I mean, I just posted that in my Discord right here, that long ass message. And then down here to that message was the same thing you just said. I posted that yesterday at
That's funny.
4:55 p.m. And the same tone. You have to earn your right to invest in these meme coins and these projects because if
Mhm.
you don't have the side capital sitting there, you don't have the cash flow coming in every month, you are literally taking your emotions because as we know, people's emotions are tied to that dollar bill. They're throwing it into stuff. And if it goes great, their emotions are at an all-time high. They're a great dad, they're a great husband, great friend. If those emotions crash because it crashes and burns, their emotions now are at all-time low. So now they're a terrible husband, they're a terrible dad, they're a terrible friend. And we see that roller coaster. And that's what keeps people from, I think, staying consistent with investing, staying consistent with their cash flow and everything else. So no, I agree with that 100%. So to go back to the question that was asked to you, how do people get involved? What they do? It's do your own research. You hang around and I know it's so cliche. We see it on social media all the time. Hang around the group of people that are talking about the things that you want to be involved in, because that
Mhm.
also too helps your research. If you're
Yeah.
hanging out with a bunch of degenerates, they're constantly throwing their money at meme coins that don't have any cash flow. You're probably going to end up like the rest of those guys that are sitting there hoping to get lucky in life. But if you're hanging out with a group of people that are being strategic, methodical in what they're doing, they're able to build real businesses for cash flow, take that money, invest in real life assets, and then say, you know what? It's okay to be a degenerate. That's like me. I posted a story in the Discord and said, I'm going to be a degenerate leading up into inauguration because I've got some extra money sitting on the sidelines that I want to gamble with. So
Yeah.
it's either I'm going to the casino or I'm going to play it in the market. And I'd rather play it in the market.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah.
be honest. Go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say, go, you go, Nick. I'll shut up.
Just like one thing I wanted to add because I forgot about this when we were talking about Jason's like scarcity thing about understanding projects and stuff. You also have to be researching macroeconomics, human behavior, our big cycles and world events. To me, selling any asset before the Trump rally is suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide,
Yeah.
right? Because you
Say
gotta.
it, say it one more time and explain why.
So, okay. Selling anything before the Trump rally is suicide because we have to look at retail, very, very, for lack of a better way to do, I'll say very irrational investors.
Yeah.
And so everybody has this story that, Trump's going to come in, he's going to wave that he has this whatever going into play on his very first day that's super bullish crypto and all of this stuff. And so when he gets in, there's going to be this massive purchasing in the market and all of these prices are going to go up. And personally, I was wondering if we were going to break 100K, but my thesis was the retailers are going to break through 100K leading up to Trump's inauguration. I think Trump's inauguration is going to shoot more, and I think Bitcoin potentially hits 125K. Then I think it dips, everybody panics, sells, crashes it back below 100K, shakes out everybody who's weak, and then it goes back up and rallies from there. That's my like immediate thought. I don't know if the crashing aspect will happen, but I got a pretty good intuitive tickle that the Trump rally is going to be pretty big on that. And then you also have Andy, I don't know if you noticed, is it March 25th with the transition of the system over to like all the XRP stuff.
So it's supposed to be. They've
Yeah,
given
yeah.
out several dates, but it's right there at the end of March.
Yeah. So you also have that for an example, and I, XRP is my largest bag. Just so we know, XRP is my largest bag. Um, It would have been larger. I sold a lot of XRP to buy 2 Bitcoin earlier this year, or earlier last year, and I wish I didn't now, but it's all good.
But there's nothing wrong with that because we
No, no,
already
no, not at
said,
all.
yeah, Bitcoin is going to be the. I just saw a statistic this morning, and it says there's it's like 1,089 people in the whole world that have addresses that have one Bitcoin in it
Yeah.
or more.
I don't hold a ton of Bitcoin. I think I have like 1.3 or 1.4 Bitcoin, and that's it.
But that's enough.
I'm not a huge Bitcoin advocate. You know, when I do my massive sell off this run and everything comes back down, yes, I'll probably buy more Bitcoin. But I see the way larger returns and everything else, and I have the cash flow to not care about that massive security asset of it. So, but XRP is something where I don't necessarily. Everyone's saying XRP is going to go to $1,000 this run. Doesn't understand math at all.
Economics of it doesn't.
It would be
You gotta love the market cap.
$50 trillion market cap. It would be the most valuable asset on the planet by like 5x, which is just unrealistic. I think a $10 price point for XRP this run is very realistic. I think it could go a little bit higher. I think it could maybe hit like a 12 to 13. The only reason I say that is because I trust how delusional the XRP army is.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm banking off their delusion for me to hit my exit point before they have their, quote unquote exit point. Most of them think $20 is realistic. I think it would be what, like a $1 trillion market cap if it hit.
Yeah, and that's always been my fight because I mean I was a big coming up in crypto. I mean, obviously with XRP being centralized and not decentralized, it was kind of always looked at as like the black sheep of the family in the crypto space. So when I was talking about it hard, like in 2016, there was no army, and then every single year that army just keeps getting bigger, and bigger, and you start seeing the man. I've got 1,000 XRP. I can't wait till this hits $1,000 because 1,000 times 1,000 is $1 million. And I'm sitting there going, guys, you got to look at the market cap as a whole, and you got to factor that in. So I mean, I've seen $20 and $25 floating around all week, and I'm like, guys,
I mean, here's the thing.
Anything can happen.
I'm not going to say it's not possible. That would be the market cap would be pretty close to Bitcoin's market cap right now. I think Bitcoin's like 1.2 trillion right now. So it's not. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen a crypto asset hit that before.
I think 12, 13 is fair though. 12, 13 is super fair.
I think 12 to 13 that would be like my high risk sell point. My main sell off is going to be around. I think I have my first sell off is 7 and my next is 10.
Yeah.
Well. I was just going to say, to kind of wrap this up, I'm going to take Nick's challenge. I'm not going to be a pussy. I have in my head, after he talked, to figure out a dollar amount that I
not financial advice.
No, it's not financial advice. I'm just saying that I took what you said to heart, and I was like, you know what? I could easily double what I'm putting in crypto, and as long as I see just that little bit going into my savings account, that if God forbid something happened to me, my wife had access to cash immediately because Jay's the one who executes my financials for me. In the event and stuff like that. So what happened to me, it would be a moment for all that to come over. So I'm going to take what you said, man. I got nothing to lose. I mean, like, I'm just going to go in deep on it. And you know what? We'll bring you back in 6 months and we'll see how it is. And I'll tell you if I feel better, if I change my attitude with money.
Yeah, share which coins you're going into. I mean, I'm curious.
Bring me back in 4 because I think we'll be sold off by then.
So
and can I add?
Go for it.
I want to add one more thing to what Jeff was talking about. And he's like, I'm going all in case something happened to me, and Jason's going to take care of, in the event I died. Every single person watching this needs to have a strategic plan for their cryptocurrency, because let's be honest, most people don't understand that we understand private keys, how to get in wallets, how to move things around, where things are. We have that down. But if you have a wife, so it's like me, if something happens to me, sorry, I hit the mic. If something happens to me, I've got 2 friends and I've split it between 2 because anything could happen to them too while something's going on. And they know exactly where everything is in my house, where everything's at in my safety box, what phone does what. I have it labeled out. It's not even like this phone here that I carry around, nothing. I've got my phones at home, computers all set up to where if something happens to me, my wife still has access to the crypto, to the investments, things I've done. I've seen way too many personally horror stories where I've had to go help moms with their kids passing away, find their crypto. And guess what? We can't find the keys. We can't find where they had the 2FA. We can't find anything.
Yeah, right.
And it's gone. So, I mean, be very mindful that you may think, I've got all this figured out, but have someone else that don't give your best friend sometimes all the info. Just say, This
Yeah,
is where it's
right.
at because if
This is
relationships dip, Jason may take all of Jeff's stuff, just
Yeah,
saying.
this is tough because this is where I like don't like to leave the conversation. Like we could just talk about this. There's so much intricacy to the protection aspect of things, and
Right.
even where to set, what decentralized exchanges to send your assets on to sell them so that you avoid a taxable event.
Yep.
Because I'm and I don't know if you guys want to do like top crypto picks for this run or anything like that and talk about the position, like the projects.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna hit the
Love to.
restroom while you guys do that real quick though, because I
Okay.
will tinkle myself if I do not. So keep talking.
Okay.
Jay, if I miss any coins that I'm not, and Andy, can you guys fill me in? Because
Yep.
I'm heavy Suku and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna go because every week we
Oh, Jeff.
Got it. I got it. Got it. Got it.
every week we've done a thing with the coins that we're keeping track of, that we're looking at the projects and whatnot. So what I'm going to do on my end is I'm going to go ahead and make a new column in all of our stuff that we're tracking, and that way, as me and Nick are talking through these, I can go ahead and write them down and keep tracks.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want me to do sell points too? What do you guys
Uh,
think?
Awesome.
I mean,
That'd be
dude,
kind of fun, huh?
Yeah.
if you do that, that's even better for
Let's
us.
do it. I'll tell you everything. So, Bitcoin, I'm still undecided if I'm going to sell any of it or not. But if I was going to do my first sell point was 125K. My second was 145K, and my third was going to be 160K.
Okay.
Ethereum, my first sell point is 8,500.
Okay.
My next is 10,000, and I will be completely out at that point in time. One of my largest holdings, FTM, is my second largest holding, which is soon to be Sonic. They're actually
Cool.
transferring it over to Sonic right now, so it's just the hashtag is S. I don't even think you can buy FTM on exchanges anymore because I think they are fully
They're
integrated.
waiting on the.
Yeah, they're fully integrated over by now, I'm pretty sure. But FTM, my first sell point, well, my first sell point is previous all-time high just to make some liquidity, so it's 354. My first real sell point is $5, and that's a huge sell point for me. My next one's 557, and then my next one is 850. So I have, if you guys can probably see here, I have like my low risk tolerance sell point, my medium risk sell point, and my high risk sell point. And going to hbar, my first sell point's $1. Easy. My second sell point is 145. And then my third sell price is 197 because I think it'll hit $2 and I worry about the psychological barrier of it going over 2.
Yeah.
CAS is one, KAS, CASPA. That is honestly my highest return on investment thus far. I think it's like 17 cents right now. I was preaching it when it was a penny. I'm selling majority at $1 and then 119 and 130. Soul, I'm selling first at 425 and 425, 475, and then 600.
So talking about Sol,
Yeah.
with all the ETFs and everything that they're planning on doing, do you think with all, I mean, they're talking, $14 billion rolling into Sol and XRP projects rather quickly. Do you
Yeah.
see, I mean, obviously, because you're selling points on Sol, and that's the only reason I interrupt you on this. I've got mine set at 455, 492, and then my exit was going to be around 630, 640.
Nice. Yeah,
And
so
then
we're pretty much same ballparks.
watching that retracement come back down. But I'm wondering, do you still have the figures in your head of it actually hitting a true 4 digit at $1,000, like we've seen circulating?
I don't know if we're going to see sold $1,000 this run. I mean, again, I personally think this run, even if we're looking at like the Elliott wave of the
Yep.
five, I don't know if we're going to see $1,000. I mean, again, I think this run, I think the huge euphoria spike that we're going to see is going to be a lot faster than people think. And I think because it's so fast, the delusion hits in of, oh my God, it's only been 2 months. It's for sure going to go up for this entire year. And that's why most of my sell points are a little bit more conservative. And I'll be
I like
honest,
that.
Soul, I don't have like I know it to be the big three. I know it's a huge, all the meme coins are built on all of that. I don't have a lot of excitement for the project. It's one of those things where I just hold because I know it's a good quality asset to hold,
Mm.
which is again why my sell points are a little bit more conservative because I don't have the conviction of it breaking 600, maybe like you do. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
No,
Cool.
yeah, I'm right there with you. And what I've always done, the only reason I went up above 600 is always give myself that little buffer for
Hmm.
like that little bitty hit before it
Yeah,
falls.
right,
Because
right,
I
right, right,
like you
right.
said, with this being so fast in this bull market, I feel like the bear market is going to come at us faster than what we've seen
Yes.
previously,
Yeah,
where we've kind of had that
this
bull market that
market
goes like
nowhere
this.
near is nowhere like other markets at
Nope.
all. Bitcoin isn't crashing like it used to, which is more than likely from the ETFs and all of the
Yep.
massive cash flow propping it up. Altcoins are taking longer to pop, so it's like all the other bull runs you kind of have to take with a grain of salt on this one, which is
Yeah.
exciting. This is where you'll actually see who the experts are, the people that are studying and know their shit, right?
Yep.
Okay, my last three positions. I don't hold a lot of positions. I hold nine.
Yeah.
XRP. First sell price is actually $8 for me. Second sell price is $10, and my sell off is $12.
Do you
I like
guys
Sand.
that.
think on XRP, my thinking was to hold a bag. Like, even if I want to take some profit, never get rid of all of it just because I think it's going to be one of those pivotal assets. Or are you guys thinking of selling it all?
I agree. I agree it's going to be a pivotal asset, but I also know that everything comes back down in a bear
So you could
market.
get back in cheaper and get more with the
Even,
money.
I mean, here's the thing, like just full transparency. If I hit all of my sell points on this market, I should have about a $10 million exit,
Yep.
give or take. And some of my final sell off points I might not hit, and that'll be the bag that I keep for when
Yep.
it goes back down.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I have it very sanctioned. My first sell point I should make about 4.2. My second sell point should be about another 4.2.
Yep.
So if I just hit those first two and all the prices that I've said, I think my second sell price is pretty much I'm pretty certain and convicted I'll hit those. So let's play the game, right? I make 8.5. I'm holding on to a potential 1.5 of more profits, but then everything tanks back down and I still have my positions of the
Mhm.
prices that I bought them in regardless, right? If it goes up another 1.5 and I sell off and it comes back down and they're double the price, well, I have the cash, I have the capital to where it's not even a factor. So I've really kind of, in my opinion, and knock on wood, I've really positioned myself so that I win regardless of which
Either
way the
way.
market goes. And
Yeah,
that's
Yep.
and I think
good.
it's important to always remember that, I mean, no one ever went broke taking profits. It's the same saying we've always heard. That
Right.
I've personally watched people be so married. There's a guy back in my hometown where he's been so married to projects. I've watched a portfolio of his personally go
Yeah.
up to almost $22 million. I mean, I watched it with my own eyes, and he started it with just throwing, 10 grand here, 50 grand here, 60 grand here. He was only in that for less than, I think, $2 or $3 million. And when I saw all that happen, I was like, brother, you've got to take out
Please,
this chunk, do this,
please
do
just
this.
listen to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to. And he was like, no, 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 because man, he's like, I talked to this guy the other day who's been in crypto. He's done this, this,
Here
this.
we
This is
go.
going to
Yep.
$100 million. And I was like,
Okay.
amazing. That's great. But I'm just telling you right now, take out at least 50%. And
Yeah.
he didn't. And
Yeah,
then
man.
fast forward, it came all the way crashing back down to
Oh,
all of
wow.
his entry points
Yeah.
for everything that he had entered, plus a few percent here and there.
Yeah, but here's the
And
thing,
and
it
it
is
it bummed him out.
you have to get humbled like that a few times in this market to really
Yep.
mature and realize, okay, I gotta, because it's really easy for me to look at my last sell price and be like, fuck it, I'll just hold everything until then. And
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
stupid. So, okay, I got two more sell points. So sand, my first sell point is $4 just because I'm gonna sell 25,000 there to make 100K. Um, I'm trying to get like 300 or so K cash on hand just in case there's a massive sell off after the Trump rally for people being stupid. That's kind of my thought process there.
Got it.
My first real sell point for sand is $8.62. My second sell price is $12.50, and my third sell price is $15. And then the last one that I hold is CRV. I actually don't have sell points for that yet. I think my I only have 42,000 coins, so it's not a huge thing, but I think my sell point is $10. I think I just have like a one clean exit on that of $10. And then the only other thing that I hold, I have a couple meme coins on Phantom and shit. I don't calculate those into my profits. The only other thing I have is Pulse Chain and PDI. And that's something that Pulse Chain tanked like 86% or some shit. And I went and bought like 300 million of them because I think the Pulse Chain army is going to rally that back to life this year. It's funny. I was actually on a call with somebody and I had remembered that I had money in PDI. I put like 15 grand in and I went and looked and it was $150,000. So I went and fucking took 100K out and reinvested it in other assets. And I think that's like, you need to have that type of a mentality if you're going to win. A lot of people would look at that and go, oh my God, I should cash out and go spend it on myself. I
Yep.
have not taken a profit from my crypto portfolio in 6 years because I am putting it, holding it, reinvesting it, taking it, holding it, reinvesting it. And even with a potential $10 million exit, I have set aside $300,000 for me to have from that for fun. Everything else is going right back in,
Oh, wow.
So I just think having that mentality or training yourself to have that mentality when you're investing will ensure that you win
Yep.
always.
Nice.
So
Nah, I love it. I'm gonna ask a question to Andy and Nick to round this out. And
all right.
and Jason, Andy, and Nick, you guys don't have anything you want to say on the final pass through after it? Cool. You guys heard anything about XYO coin and what you all think about that? TikTok, it's pretty all over it. So that's why I was
No, I
curious.
don't.
So I mean,
I
XYO has been what we've been tracking, just watching the moves on it. I mean, for me, it was one that was brought to my attention. It was right around that November timeline, and I think it was like a penny and a half, and it stayed, and then it just shot off. And when it shot off, it went all the way up to like 4.5 cents. I've got here in my notes, and
Yeah, it looks like
it's
November 12th, it
yeah,
was it was half a penny.
yeah,
And then on December 2nd, it shot up to like 4 cents. Yeah, and now
yep.
it's back down to 2 cents.
you
So
guys
I
don't
mean,
know much about prognosis.
I'm watching it. It's on Coinbase, so I'm gonna have fun with it. I mean, with projects like this, I'll look at that overview, and like Nick said, you look at the all-time high, and I mean, all-time high on it, I think was like 8, 9 cents somewhere through
Yeah, it
there.
was. You can still get a 4X from here.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, again, I go back to like what Nick said. You've got a little bit of profits here and there. You throw 15, 20K at something like this, you get your
Mhm.
4X, take it out, put it in projects that you're
Matter.
passionate about, ones
Yeah.
that matter, ones that the flow is going to be there. And I think it's that too mindset of a lot of people look at projects and they want to hit that 4, 5, 10X. But sometimes to me, the foundation of it is more important, knowing we're only going to get maybe a 2X because I feel more comfortable putting my money into those projects.
Hmm.
Yeah.
100%. Jay and then Nick, anything to round out for you two gentlemen?
Go ahead, Nick. You got anything?
No. I mean, you guys know where to find me if anything I talked about resonated. If you want, business coaching, if you want somebody to really support you in your, healing perspectives around who you are, money, learning how to master your cash flow, and then also how to diversify for wealth. I mean, I'm your guy, so you know where to find me.
Yeah, I can second that. Nick and I have had many conversations through years, anywhere from relationship to cash and money. Very insightful, very insightful. That's why I wanted to have him on. And Nick, I'd like to have you back on here in the next few months here. I think there's a lot more that we can dive into.
Yeah. Let's
Guys,
compare sell prices. Let's see if all of our sell points hit.
yeah, right, right. As someone who has been in and out of crypto, I wish that I would have kept going in the bears like Nick did and set himself up. But all I can do is move forward now, and that if you're in that spot, it's the same thing. It's never too late, and so take a look at things. Make sure you do your own research. Look at all-time highs. Don't be buying on the chase because right now there's probably going to be a Trump pump. So if something makes sense, like hbar, like we had that conversation, is at 37. If you don't need money for 3 years, look at the tech. It's great. But if you need quick cash, be careful right now.
Well, if you need quick cash, go grow your business.
Yeah, for
God,
sure.
yes.
Right? Go grow your business.
Yeah. But other than that, I think this has been an awesome episode diving into psyche, the powers of growing your wealth and what can be done in the crypto market. Just tread wisely. I think it's about all I got, Jeff.
Ah, sweet. I think I'm actually gonna have to consider hiring Nick because Jay gets on me all the time for being lazy about his online coach.
Well,
He does. He gives me shit because I'm an
he said if you're
in-person
ready to
coach, but
work.
he gives me, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm ready to work, Nick. I don't know, but
Fair.
uh,
Don't come to me if you're not
see,
ready
I
to
like
work.
that answer. No, that's just, I'm just suggesting, my man. I appreciate.
You know, I'm
Uh,
always just pushing you in the right direction. I just think you can
oh, fuck
squeeze more
yeah.
out. I know you've done well for yourself, but I just,
I know.
you know,
I know. I'm working on that. Maybe I need to have a conversation with Nick about how I view my online persona with my book getting released on Amazon soon and
yeah,
all that
dude,
stuff.
that
By the
book's
way, that's a
great. Try to
nightmare,
definitely do
man.
some more with
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
got a book.
nightmare dealing with
I got a
Amazon.
book coming out too. I feel you.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
awesome, Nick. And I just want to say thanks, Nick, for jumping on here, man. It is
Yeah, no.
very informative. I like your mindset.
Thanks,
I
man.
like, I mean, everything that you've put out is what I resonate with, and I hope that people, after hearing things being regurgitated and said again, said again, said again, it resonates with them, and they take that next step.
A
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know I learned a lot. I'm going to take some of Nick's mindset and start working on it. And, be sure to like, share, get it out there. We're just trying to help other people, really understand a way that they can make wealth because in other areas, you're kind of locked out and the time's ticking. So we appreciate it. Y'all take care. Peace.
See ya.